And now it's time to get into more advanced features of Pandas to import external data. So we've seen already in a real life example the way we can import data from CSV files and from SQL databases, right? We had actually those two lessons. The objective of these part of the tutorial is to show you how you can improve or get into more advanced use cases of importing data. So we're going to start, for example, with CSVs and text files. And again, you've seen it already, but here we're going to give it an extra twist. So I'm going to show you more advanced features and for special use cases. TXT files, CSV files is, conceptually speaking, a CSV file is a text file. It's just humanly readable text, right, that it's encoding information. The idea of a CSV file is that it's tabular, right? So it's a plain text file that contains tabular data in it, and it's separated. CSV stands for comma separated, but it can be, the separated can be anything. We can see more examples later. But basically, the idea is that it's text file, that it's tabular in a tabular format. So those, both CSV files and text files will be read with the same method. So to get things started, I want to show you the basic way we read data from external sources using Python without even starting yet with Pandas. So you don't need to know this. It's usually productive, if you want, for data scientists or data analysts to understand a little bit more how file reading and writing works in computers, because there are multiple concepts aligned here. They involved operating systems, processes, your language, right? It's not the same thing to read a file with R or with Python or with another language. So there are multiple concepts here, and even though Pandas in this case is gonna make it very simple to read and write data, you can get a little bit of a more advanced use case if you know the internals of, again, both the operating system, processes, and your language. So this is the way we read data with, or read a file, using pure Python. We use the function open. And in this case, we're using a context manager, just a security feature, again, related to the advanced usage of reading and writing files. But it creates a file pointer, right? And with the file pointer, you can then use the very simple API exposed but that pointer, which is something like readline, readlines, read a number of bytes or characters, or you can just even treat FP as an iterator, just do for line in FP. But basically, we're going to do something like this. We'll start reading data from top to bottom, just until, I don't know, we hit a given end. In this case, we're doing it just for, I don't know, a couple of lines. What else? It gets very difficult when you are reading text files to process them, because it's usually hard to parse the structure of the file. So it's not the same thing to have a file that is separated by commas, separated by colons, separated by pipes, spaces, etc. So you're gonna see that once you want to get a little bit more, with an advanced usage, right, or a little bit more fancy in your calculations and the way you parse the data, it's gonna get harder. So that's why we're gonna use Pandas, or I'm gonna show you in a second the CSV module that is part of Python. So this is the file that we're gonna be reading. It's the exam review file, and I'm gonna open it. And even though it doesn't look like a CSV, it is indeed a CSV. The difference is that here the separator is the greater sign. It's not the comma, it's a greater sign. That's going to be what marks the delimitation between different fields in our CSV file. So we're going to use the CSV module, and the way right here to parse the data using that module is by passing a special delimiter, right? So that's going to be the type of work that you might need to do when you're parsing the data. It's not the same thing to have a delimiter that it's a greater sign. It's not the same thing to have numbers, for example, that are enclosed in quotes. All those things, right, will change the way you work. And all this is going to be abstracted away by the Pandas module.